Okay, first thing, this is a jig to hold all the frames in the position that they need to be in so you can assemble multiple frames at one time. You can put them together individually, but this is a time saver, and it goes so quick with one of these, it is well worth the money. Now we all use just strictly deep hive equipment for everything. All of our boxes are all deeps. So we've got this set up for doing deeps, but you can do deeps, mediums, or shallows with this same jig. Now these are the side bars. And you set them all in, fill up one row here with them. Make sure you get them all turned the right way. There's a wider side and a narrower side, and the narrow side goes to the bottom. These jigs hold 10 frames, which is one 10-frame hive body worth. Okay, these are the top bars, and this is called a grooved top bar. There are also wedge top bars. Now we buy the grooved top and the grooved bottom bars because we use plastic foundation coated in beeswax. A lot of people don't like the plastic foundation, but it's reusable and it goes together so much faster. There's no the old wax foundation has to be wired in to the frames, and it takes a tremendous amount of time to do that. And with the plastic foundation, it goes so quickly that it's just not worth the effort to use the old style solid wax foundation. So, we've got our bottle of Type Bond here. You want to use a good quality wood glue. Come down and put a little dab on every bar. And when we're not trying to film this, it goes a whole lot faster. But just trying to show you all what we do here. Just get a handful of top bars, go down the line and insert them in to place. The only thing when you're doing a bunch like this, as opposed to just doing them individually, is you've got to be real careful that you don't mess up and not nail some of them. And we've done that before. All right, there's all of the top bars on and they're ready to nail. And the way I like to do it is just get a handful of little frame nails. All the bee supplies sell them. Some places even supply them with the frames when you buy the frame. And a good old claw hammer. This is a bluegrass claw hammer, and you can't beat these old wooden handle bluegrass tools. But you can start it and then drive it. Just one good swift hit usually sends them home. And when you drive them that way, when you drive them in fast like that, they have a tendency to just go straight down and not run out the sides. Side. Now it's really important that you glue these and nail them. Just the nails are not going to hold up, and in fact there's one other thing once we get these 10 assembled here and get them out of the jig that I'll show you. that needs to be done as well. And here in the hills of North Georgia, our winters hadn't been too bad the last few years, and today's in the upper 40s and the sun's out, and it's not too bad of a day. We've actually got some bees flying today. So this just seemed like a real good day to put together some frames and make a video. You got to pay attention when you use these little nails, because the way they're manufactured, some of them come out without a head on them. It's just a piece of wire. You don't want to use one of those. We just throw them away when we find them. Okay, there's the top bars on. Just pick it up and flip it over. And we do the same thing on the bottom bars. We come through and put a little bit of glue on every one, just right down in the bottom will be fine. If a little of it squirts out, that's okay, it ain't going to hurt anything. Now, something on these bottom bars, when you put them on, you see the top bar actually has a notch. So once it's set into place, it can't move or spread apart. These bottom bars, you have to push the frames together. You got to make sure they're all the way together when you nail them, or they won't fit in your hive. Then you just nail them the same way. Also, when you're driving these nails, when you drive them quickly, there's less chance of splitting the ends of your bottom bars here. And sometimes that happens. You'll fold one over, so just put another one in there next to it and drive it home. Alright, y'all, we've got all the top bars and the bottom bars nailed on. Now it's time to get them out of the jig. Stick the jig straight up like that. The boards that hold the side bars in place come right out. And here's 10 frames ready to go, just like they would be sitting in a hive. Well, they're upside down from how they would be sitting in a hive, but you get the idea. Now, there's one other really important thing that a lot of people don't do, and you really, really need to do this. These top bars have just a little bit of a edge right here. You want to drive a nail through the sidebar up into here. And you want to do this with every single frame that you do, because if you don't, you will end up, when you start prying up on the top bars to pull the frames after the bees have propolized them into the hive, which is the glue that they stick everything together with. Once these have set in a hive and the bees have drawn the comb out and you start prying on this top bar, you'll just pull it right up, and then you basically have to tear all the comb out and start over again, because you won't be able to get that top bar back down in the same place that it was, and the frame and the comb still stick to it. So on all of your frames, just takes one. And now you'll never pull that off. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of these. That one bent over, but as long as it gets driven in part of the way, just so it's got something to grab to this top bar too, it'll be good. Okay, we've got our foundation here and we've got our frames put together, so we're going to install the foundation. Now this plastic foundation has the honeycomb pattern molded into it, and then it's coated in wax. And the great thing about this wax foundation is once, if anything happens to it, wax moths or anything like that get to it, you can just scrape all of it off and wash it good with a pressure washer, and then paint melted wax back on it, and they'll start drawing it out again. And you don't have to lose the frames or just start over completely with new foundation. That's a big time saver, but also just how quickly these snap into the frames. Done. If you do traditional wax foundation, you have to run wire across the frames, set the foundation in it. Instead of a grooved top bar, there will be a wedge that you would pop loose, and you would set the sheet of foundation in like this, and then it would just fall into place up here, and you would set the wedge against it and nail that into place. Then you would have to take a tool and embed the wires into the wax, because the wax is not strong enough just by itself without the wire to stand up to being moved around and even running it through the extractor. So the plastic foundation gets rid of all of that time and effort. It would take minutes to do each frame the old way. But with the plastic foundation, which is not anything new, it's been around for a long time, but it just takes seconds to do one. You can kind of get a rhythm going, and it doesn't take long to do a bunch of these. And there we go. There's a whole hive body, all 10 frames ready to go. Y'all like and subscribe, and come back to the Old Timey Way channel for beekeeping, farming, blacksmithing, homesteading, all sorts of videos.